Welcome to Monday Morning Moments. I'm Mike Van Hoozer. Today we're beginning a new series about leadership, and we're talking about great leaders and habits and characteristics that great leaders have based on our research and experience in working with great leaders in sports, business, and life. And so each of these episodes are going to be about a habit, and it's going to be great leaders do this or great leaders are this. And so today I want to talk to you about great leaders are aware. And I think there are two main areas, but I'm going to give you more than two today to talk about. But two main areas that leaders are aware, and they're basically aware of themselves and aware of others. And I think it begins with self-awareness, but it also results in others' awareness. And the best leaders that we see in sports, business, and life are aware of themselves and are aware of other people. And as we break that down and think about, well, what are they aware of? I want to give you 4 or 5 things that I think great leaders are aware of. And the first thing is that they're aware of who they are and how they've been created. It's so important that we understand that and make sure that we understand who we are and that we're aware of how we've been created and how God has created us. And great leaders know themselves well. And the second point that they're aware of is related to this, and that they know their strengths, gifts, and talents. And I think it's important that leaders know what those are. I see a lot of leaders that try to work on their weaknesses or marginally improve their weaknesses and spend so much time on that they're not fully exploiting or leveraging their strengths. And I think, yes, we need to work on the areas we need improvement in, but we need to focus on strengths-based leadership and knowing what are our gifts and talents and strengths. What has God uniquely gifted you that if you fully leverage that, that would create the most impact for other people and also in the projects you're working on, in the teams that you're trying to impact as well, and the goals that you're trying to pursue. So being aware of who you are and how you've been created, and then also being aware of your gifts, talents, and strengths are the first two things. And key question around that is, are you fully aware of who you are? And are you fully aware of the gifts, talents, and strengths that you've been blessed with? Another thing that I would add is that great leaders are aware of their passions and what energizes them. So once we know what our strengths are, we need to be aware of what our passions are. And some people, love that word. Some people don't like that word, but they like what energizes them. And so however you want to think about it, I think you need to understand what energizes you and what are you passionate about. Because you could have a strength, but if you're not passionate about that, then you're not going to be fully leveraging that in all aspects of life, and you're not going to be fully engaged in what that strength is. I remember a certain transition point in my life, I was thinking about strengths that I had and making a list of those, and I often walk the people that I do career coaching with through that list and to develop a list of strengths and to develop a list of passions or what energizes them. And as I was going through that list, there were a couple of things that were on the list that I felt like, well, I was good at that, but I really wasn't passionate about that, maybe say like other people were. And it really helped me to dive deeper into what was I really passionate about. And part of that was being with people and doing people-oriented things, which has provided guidance and direction for all the things that I do, from a consulting basis to coaching to speaking, and really trying to make an impact in people's lives. And so it's really important that we know what energizes us, because we can go through the motions and be transactional and then just be drained by the end of a day or the end of a week. And we're not fully leveraging not only our strengths, but what we're passionate about and what energizes us and what we draw energy from. And so it's really important that we understand what those are and to outline, what am I passionate about? And not just go through the motions in life, but to be passionate about what we do every day. I think another item on the list is that great leaders are aware of their opportunities. So once we know how we've been created, what our strengths are, what we're passionate about, we're aware of opportunities that are there. Because we could know all of those things and be self-aware, but if we don't see the opportunities in front of us, if we don't pursue those opportunities, then we're not going to be making an impact or a full impact with our lives. I think the other part of this is that there will be challenges in our lives. I work with a lot with athletes, and sometimes there are great challenges in front of them, or their frustrations or their setbacks, but they have to continue to look at those challenges as opportunities. And when they flip their mindset around that and understand that, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to leverage this and leverage my skills and strengths. And yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be challenging, but I see it as an opportunity to really play into my strengths and demonstrate what I'm capable of and to be resilient in that process. And so great leaders, both in the challenging circumstances as well as the positive opportunities in front of them, see those as opportunities, and they use that in the vocabulary. And when you see those things as opportunities, then you're going to create moments that matter, and you're going to create more of an impact with your life as well. And so whether it's your goals or whether it's challenges that you see, view those as opportunities. And a lot of times we're thinking about the end result and the outcome, but the process is very important. And as we see opportunities in the process, we'll see opportunities to make a difference with our lives and to achieve the outcomes that we're pursuing in our lives as well. Another thing that great leaders are aware of is their purpose and their calling. And we talk a lot about this on this podcast and in other places, in blogs and other courses and coaching that we do. But purpose and calling is so important. And the key question for you is, do you know why you're here? Do you know why you're here on earth? Do you know what your purpose in life is? Do you know how you've been called by God to do specific things that only you uniquely can do? That's so important that we get that right, because we could spend time focusing on a lot of things, but we need to make sure that those things and those tasks that we do every day are aligned with our purpose and why we were created. And I believe each one of us was created for a unique purpose, and there's specific things that God has called us to do, and we need to make sure that we're aligned with those things and make sure that we're purposeful and about pursuing our purpose and our calling. And I think sometimes people can go through life and they think, well, only certain people have a life purpose. You know, I don't really have a purpose, and I don't think that I was created for a purpose. But you were. And getting in touch with that, and the way that I've gotten in touch with that in my own life is to read the Bible, to pray, to connect with God, and to understand those things that He has uniquely called me to do. And part of that also involves looking back at themes in your life. You know, why were you put in certain situations? What strengths have you developed over time? And how can you leverage that for the future? And what insight does that give you about who you are and what your purpose is in life as well? And I think that we draw clarity along the way in going through certain situations and certain moments that give us clarity about our purpose and help to drive us and provide direction and insight and wisdom as we go forward in life as well. But purpose and calling are so important. If we don't pursue that, then we're not going to make impact with our lives, and we're also not going to make an impact in the lives of other people. And that's so important as a leader. If we're not connecting with our purpose, then others are going to be looking for that from us, even when they don't specifically ask us for that. And we're going to miss the moment and miss the opportunity of impact with other people. And then I think the final thing leads to this others-based leadership and being aware of others. And great leaders are aware of the people they lead and their strengths and their passions and their purpose and their opportunities. And great leaders, the best ones in sports, business, and life, set others up for success. They know their strengths. They position them on tasks that align with their strengths. They know what they're passionate about, and they try to give them opportunities to pursue those. And then they see opportunities to invest in their lives, to provide wisdom, to provide encouragement, to provide feedback. And I think that's one other thing that great leaders do. They provide effective feedback for others once they're aware of who they are. They give both constructive feedback and positive feedback to them. And it's not constructive criticism, as we've said in other leadership podcasts, that criticism, the definition of that is to tear down. But constructive feedback, even when it's delivering maybe a tough message, is to give feedback that will help them become everything that they can be. And people are more likely to receive feedback when they know that you're trying to help them become the best version of themselves and to reach their potential. We also need to make sure that we balance that constructive feedback with positive feedback, and that's geared towards helping them in every aspect of life. And we'll go deeper on feedback in an additional podcast. But I think making sure that we're aware of who we are and who the people that we lead are very, very important. And I just, again, pose this as a question to you. Are you aware of who you are, how you've been created, what your strengths, gifts, and talents and opportunities are, and what you're passionate about? And are you aware of the people that you lead? And are you aware of them and their strengths and gifts and talents and opportunities and passions? And I think when we connect those two, that we're going to be more effective leaders and we're going to become a great leader, whether it's in sports, business, or life. And as always, it's going to help us to make the most of the moments in our life.